Hey, this is the video lesson for 6.4 on writing expressions. So we're going to start with writing one-step simpler expressions here. Now I want you to take a look at the top on the screen because I actually changed this up a little bit. So it's a little different than what's in your book. So first off, this says, to write verbal phrases as algebraic expressions, follow the steps below. Now this thing here, when it talks about defining the variable, this is key to writing an expression. Defining a variable isn't just choosing the letter that represents something, it's understanding what it represents. So, defining a variable means, what don't you know? Why can't you solve the problem? So we'll show you that below. So the first step, define a variable. After you define a variable, you're going to draw a bar diagram. And then you should be able to go from your bar diagram to your expression. So, define a variable, draw a bar diagram, and write your expression. Let's show you here in example 1. In example 1, it says write each phrase as an algebraic expression. $8 more than Ryan earned. So step 1 is define a variable. What don't you know in this problem? Why can't you just tell me the answer as a number? Well, it's because you don't know what Ryan earned. So when I define a variable, I'm going to write down R equals what Ryan earned. Now, when you write a bar diagram, here's a good thing about a bar diagram is they all kind of start the same way. Once you define your variable, you draw a bar and you label it your variable. Remember, that R represents what Ryan earned. We don't know what it is, but we do know it says $8 more than what Ryan earned. So to show $8 more, we kind of add on the 8 to the end of the bar. And when you get good at bar diagrams, you'll know that that means this expression, R plus 8. So this is our expression, R plus 8, and that represents whatever Ryan earned, $8 more than that. Now, we'll go down to the next one, $10 less than the original price. So remember, we're going to start by defining a variable. So why can't you tell me the answer to $10 less than the original price? Is because you don't know the original price. So I'm going to use P to represent the original price. Now, it doesn't matter what letter you choose for your variable. I just usually have it to do with something in the problem. Now, the next step, remember when we draw our bar diagram, the good thing is they start the same way. So I'm going to start with a bar and label it P because we don't know the original price. But here's what we do know. We do know it is $10 less than the original price. So to show that, we drop the little box down with a 10 in it. That's how you represent 10 less than the original price. And this helps us see the expression, whatever the original price is, minus 10. And that's our answer. All right, now, let me look over here because this is really important. In this little note here, it says less than. It says you can write 10 more than a number as either 10 plus P or P plus 10. That doesn't matter in addition. But 10 less than a number can only be written as P minus 10. So if you were to write this expression in number 2 as 10 minus P, you would be wrong. The bar diagram helps us see the order. We started with the P, we took 10 away. P minus 10. All right, now we're going to go on to the top of the next page. This one says 4 times the number of gallons. So let's start the steps. Define a variable. We don't know the number of gallons, so I'm going to use G is the number of gallons. Step 2, we're going to draw a model. Now, remember you start with a bar with G. We don't know the number of gallons. But we do know it says 4 times the number of gallons. So if G is the number of gallons, I'm just going to draw it 4 times. Does that make sense? 4 times the number of gallons, you draw it 4 times. Now, to write your expression, take a look at what that is. Isn't that G 4 times, or 4 times G, or 4 G's? That's our expression. Remember, 4G means 4 times G, and that's what this bar diagram represents. All right. Are you ready to try some? So we have A, B, and C. A says 4 points fewer than the bull scored. B, 12 times the number of feet. And C, the total cost of a shirt and an $8 pair of socks. Now, for each one, you're going to define a variable, then we're going to draw a bar diagram, and then we're going to write our expression. So let's do A together, then we'll have you try B and C. So A says 4 points fewer than the Bulls scored. The first thing I want you to think of is, what don't we know? We're going to define our variable. Okay, so if you thought about it, we don't know what the Bulls scored. So why don't we use B for what the Bulls scored? So I'm going to write that in my workspace over here. So B is what the Bulls scored. Okay, now step 2 is we're going to draw our bar diagram. So do this with me. Remember, you start with the variable B, what the Bulls scored. So we're going to draw a rectangle and put a B in it. That's what the Bulls scored. Remember, we don't know what that is, though. Now, then we have to say, remember, it said 4 points fewer. So how do we show 4 points fewer than that B? Well, if you remember, we drop down the 4 here. That's how you show 4 points fewer than what the Bulls scored. And then finally, you write your expression, B minus 4. So that's all you do for A. Now for B, I want you to try it. It says 12 times the number of feet. So start by defining a variable, then draw a bar diagram to represent 12 times that, and then write your expression. Okay, pause the video, go ahead. All right, let's see how you did. So let me switch to red for this one. So 12 times the number of feet. What don't we know? We don't know the number of feet. So I'm going to use F. I don't care what variable you used. So F is the number of feet. Now it says 12 times the number of feet. So when I start to draw my bar diagram, I start with F. Remember, F is the number of feet. 12 times that, well, I would draw it 12 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what is that? Isn't that 12 F's? Well, that's our expression. 12F. Remember, 12F means 12 times F. All right. Now, I want you to do C. So C, remember, define the variable, figure out what you don't know, then draw a bar diagram, and then write your expression. Restart the video when you're done with C. Go ahead. All right, let's see how you did. So that says the total cost of a shirt and an $8 pair of socks. So what don't you know? Well, we don't know the cost of the shirt, so I'm going to use S for the cost of a shirt. Now, here's what we do know. It says the total cost of a shirt, so that's our start of our bar, S, and an $8 pair of socks. Okay, so this is our bar diagram. It's the cost of a shirt and an $8 pair of socks. So that tells us our expression is S, cost of the shirt, plus 8. All right, so that's A, B, and C. Remember, if you're having trouble with the bar diagrams, they're just meant like training wheels to help you through it. As long as you get the expressions, you'll be okay. But I do want you to practice the bar diagrams, because when you get good at them, they help you with the trickier ones, which start below with two-step expressions. So check this one out. This one says, write the phrase 5 less than 3 times the number of points as an algebraic expression. So watch how I go through the 3 steps. First, in this one, we don't know the number of points, so I'm going to use P as my variable, and it's going to stand for the number of points. Now remember, when I start my bar diagram, I start with P. That's the number of points. Now, my two-stepper is going to actually have 2 parts to it, so I'm going to highlight them. So the first part says 5 less than. The second part says 3 times the number of points. So here is the trick to understanding the two-steppers. The trick is to start with the second part, not the first part. So we're going to start with this part highlighted in red, 3 times the number of points. So take a look down here. Remember, P is the number of points. So if I want to show 3 times the number of points, I'm going to draw that 3 times. There's 2 times the number of points, there's 3 times the number of points. Okay, so far, that's this red part here, 3 times the number of points. But now, remember, we have to talk about this part, 5 less than that. So to show 5 less than that, I do this. That's 5 less than 3 times the number of points. So then, from that, I get my expression. So I'll highlight the part first. Remember, 3 times the number of points I would write as 3p. And then 5 less than that, I took away 5, minus 5. So my expression is 3p minus 5. You cannot have 5 minus 3p. That would be wrong. So the bar diagram helps me with the order because the bar is drawn in the same order that you write your expression. So now you're going to try D. In D, it says, write the phrase $3 more than 4 times the cost of a pretzel as an algebraic expression. So I'm going to start you off. 1, you don't know the cost of a pretzel, so let's use P as the cost of the pretzel. Okay, next, we're going to break this into 2 chunks. First chunk is $3 more than. The second chunk is 4 times the cost of a pretzel. Now, here's what you are to do on your own. You're going to draw your bar diagram, and then you're going to write your expression. And remember my hint from above. My hint is start with the second part, and then go to this part. Okay, give it your best shot. Restart the video, pause the video, and restart it when you think you have it. Go ahead. Okay, how'd you do? Let's see. Remember, start with the second part. We start with my bar is P. All bars start the same way. A rectangle with a letter in it. Remember that P is the cost of a pretzel. Now in purple here it says 4 times the cost of a pretzel. So I'm going to draw 4 of these. Okay, so that's 4 times the cost of a pretzel. Now in red here it says 3 more than that. So I'm not subtracting this time, I'm adding on 3 onto the end. Now if you messed up your bar diagram, fix it and learn from it, but the main thing is your expression. So now I'm going to write my expression. Remember, 4 times the cost of a pretzel is 4p. That's what I have here. I have 4 p's. But then I added on $3. So I should have 4p plus 3. Now, remember with addition, you can switch the order of these terms. If you had 3 plus 4p, that would be okay in addition. But in subtraction, you can't switch the order like that. All right, but this is what matches my bar diagram, so I'm going with that. If you had it, great. We're going to go on this page because now we have a real world example. So let's go over this one. All right, in this example, it says Terry bought a magazine for $5 and 2 bottles of nail polish. So I'm going to start circling some of that. So a magazine for $5 and 2 bottles of nail polish. Write an expression to represent the total amount she spent. Then find the total amount if each bottle of nail polish costs $3. So let's start with this. Here is what we know. We know a magazine costs $5. Here is what we don't know. We do not know the cost of bottles of nail polish. So our variable is going to be B, and B is the cost of nail polish. So let's start with this. Here's what she bought. She bought 2 bottles of nail polish. Remember, we don't know what they cost, so each one of those is B, correct? But the magazine was $5. So we do know that, so that's going to be a 5. So this bar represents $5 for the magazine, whatever a bottle of nail polish is, and whatever a second bottle of nail polish is. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to write this as an algebraic expression. So watch how I do this. First off, this is going to be 5 plus, because you notice we're adding on. Now some people like to say 5 plus B, but isn't that 2 B's if we treat that as one thing? So that's 5 plus 2 times B. Now remember what this means. This means $5 for the magazine plus 2 bottles of nail polish, 2 times B, because we don't know what one cost. So this is our expression right here. But now notice in this real world example, it says, then find the total amount if each bottle of nail polish costs $3. So this is where we substitute. This is telling us that B, the cost of a bottle of nail polish, is 3. So we take our expression and we're going to put the 3 in for B. So watch. We have $5 plus 2 times 3. Because remember, bottle of nail polish, they're saying is 3. And now we solve using PEMDAS. Remember, you multiply first. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. So that would be the answer to our expression if B equals 3. All right. So that's it for the video. If you were absent, I know you're going to be working on these down below. Make sure you define a variable. Make sure you draw a bar diagram. And make sure you write your expression and follow the directions, just like we did. You can always rewatch the video and for help if you need it. So thanks for watching, and ask me if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.